Hey guys, Jay from Just Technics back again with another video. This one is on one of my favourite pairs of all time, Numark turntables, the Pro TT-2s. Superb looking turntables. These are in the chrome edition. They were limited edition. Yeah, they really are nice. They're one of my favourite pairs. Ignore the flashing LEDs. They're not flashing, it's just the camera. But yeah, limited edition chrome finish. Yeah, what to say about them really? They are one of my class as the best pair of turntables that Numark ever made. Obviously, they made the TTXs. They were renowned for having lots of problems. The TT2s were in a similar boat as well back in the day with problems with pitch and all sorts of lovely goodies hiding in the mist when you turned them on. But yeah, these are in very well kept condition. You've got the usual surface scratches as you're going to get with chrome, especially with turntables over 20 years old, but they are in general one of the nicest pair of TT2s that I've actually come across. Yeah, plenty of torque. The only thing that lets these down really is the tone arm on these older decks. You may recognise these from a lot of other turntables, i.e. Gemini decks and even the Denon VL12s, no matter what anybody tells you. Even Denon have said that they're not from the same turntable. I highly doubt it. They look identical. They feel identical. But yeah, the only thing that lets them down is the tone arms, really. If they put a more heavy-duty arm on there, I think more people would have appreciated them a little bit better. Digital display on the pitch, a bit different. It's dual colour LED as well for the actual pitch. So when you go off of the green lamp for the quartz lock, it goes red. Back on the lamp, it goes green. And as you see, when you move it through the range, it changes on the screen as well. You've got full quartz lock on there at 0 by pushing the button down. You have a plus and minus 10% as standard and also 20%. So if you literally hold down the button, that will then flash. And the range increases to 20%. Hold it back down again. Stop flashing. You get plus and minus 10% pitch. Very cool. Very cool. Lamps are still working on these as well. Very rare actually that bits are actually like this. All the graphics are still in place. Nothing has been scratched or rubbed off. A lot of these decks I tend to see where people mark these over the years. If they ever become scratched, a lot of previous owners I've seen with these particular decks in chrome, they tend to polish off everything on them, which I think is a bit of a silly idea, especially if you're ever going to sell them as an original unit. But it's each to their own, I suppose. You know, everyone's different. You also got 78 speed on here as well, so you hold both buttons down and that'll do 78 speed. You've also got reverse platter play as well on this particular model, so obviously reverse and forward. They have got the 45 adapters with these too. These are just recently sold. But yeah, the next owner is going to be very happy with these. Very happy indeed. They're in very well kept condition. Have the original power cables attached to them. We've got the original audio cables all still functioning exactly as expected. But yeah, I thought I'd show you something a little bit different for the page. Unlike a lot of DJs that are obviously Technics only, as you'll all know from my videos, I'm not just Technics through and through with everything I use. I owned a pair of these back when I was 17, many years ago now. This was the pair of decks that I had before I decided to bite the bullet and buy myself a brand new pair of 1210 Mark IIs. And to be fair, they did a bloody good job. It was the only issue I had with my original pair was unfortunately the pitch controls. And what actually happened was you'd be mid-mix, and it didn't happen all the time, but completely out of nowhere, your pitch would start to wobble. And it'd just stop and play normally. And it was always sod's law that it always happened mid-mix. So it was to do with mobile phone signals. If you had your mobile phones quite close to this with the old WAP technology and things, it used to throw off the platter. Now, I've actually had a physical mix on these turntables for a good couple of hours, and I've not experienced any issues whatsoever with pitch control. Technology's obviously changed now. The way our phones work has changed now as well, and I think that has had a big impact with the way that these turntable function. So if you had obviously reversed time back 20 years ago, you'd have been inundated with issues. And that's one of the reasons why I discontinued, because this model, I think they outsold a lot of big brand turntables. I think they were very close to actually outselling Technics at one point with this model. Because let's face it, they are a nice deck to look at. They're very pleasing. You could get these in different finishes. they had them in black, they had them in a silver colour, and obviously the chrome. They're a heavyweight unit. They're not light. That is taking a lot of effort for me to do this as well. They're not light at all. The audio cables are of a heavy duty quality. Everything's still here, as you can see. Look, even the cables are in very good standing order. They're lovely and clean, original grounding cable, but it's just a solid turntable. And if you want something that's going to do the job, but you cannot afford Technics, if you very rarely ever look online and find a pair of these going and they're in fully working order, I would recommend anybody giving these a go, especially if you're not Technics diehard. Because let's face it, not everybody can afford to just go out and spend the best part of £1,000 on a pair of Technics. And if you've got the patience to, you know, polish out scratch marks and light marks on the Chrome edition, these are by far the ones I would be going for, because they are my favourite out of all of them. I've got these in gloss black, I have them in silver as well, but this is just, you know, for the fact that they're limited edition and they're Chrome, they look lovely. So I recommend anybody out there that can't afford to spend the best part of £1,000 on a pair of Technics, if you do find these, snap them up. You're always going to make good money on them as well. Don't believe anybody that tells you any different. I've had people, it was so funny when I was selling these. Obviously, these are sold now. But so many people were messaging me going, you're never going to get that price for them. What are you thinking about? Oh, you can get a pair of better decks for better price than that. Truth is, you can't. I mean, it's insane what some people think is a good price and what some people think is too expensive. I mean, these are a limited edition pair of decks. They're over 20 years old now. You know, I mean, they're going to keep their value. And for anybody out there that wants something to mix on, that can't afford Technics, these will do the job. If you're a scratch DJ, these will do you a treat anyway. They've got plenty of features on them for scratch DJs. And like I say, the arms are the only things really that do tend to let these down. I mean, they come pretty much standard with loose pivot points on them. The arm's not in the best, but they do the job. Audio quality is clear, plenty of start and stop power, plenty of torque, pitch feels lovely and smooth on them, and once you've adapted to the way that these pitch controls actually work, they do lock very well. And back when I was 17, these were pretty much my dream decks minus the Technics. So I spent many hours locked away in my bedroom annoying my family, because my bedroom used to be above our living room, so every 5 minutes it was banging on the ceiling telling me to turn my music down. These recorded practically every old school trance mix that I used to record, because before these were a pair of Numark 1510s, I think they were, belt drive things. So these were my first proper pair of direct drive decks. And it just makes me laugh, the amount of people that I read and DJs in general that slate these turntables and say that they're no good for mixing. Truth is, I mean, these in particular as well, like I say, the customer's going to be very happy with these, because this particular pair, I find that they lock better than a lot of the heavily worn Technics that I actually have in at the moment, which are due for a service. So yeah, once you adapt to the pitch, they lock lovely. If you're into your trance, your techno, your hard dance, whatever you mix, house, funky, electro, these will do the job. Now, you very rarely get these pop up on eBay or anywhere else. I mean, look how clean. I mean, you can see me on them, look. You can see my reflection. But yeah, they very rarely ever really pop up online for sale. You do get the odd person that wants to take the mickey with the price on these in really bad condition. I haven't done that. I mean, the price I've stuck these up for is sold for £5,000 for the pair, which I think is a realistic price for a pair of these. Well looked after, everything's still fully working. I mean, if they are really badly, you know, kicked in the sides with nasty dents and corrosion everywhere and deep scratch marks, bit different. These have got your usual light scratches on the chrome, as you can see. And I think if the customer decides to spend a bit of time polishing these out and getting some scratch remover or something on that, I have a feeling he's going to be extremely happy, and he's going to make even more money than what I've actually sold them for. So it's just a quick sale, you know. I mean, they were sitting here gathering dust, and I thought, instead of them sitting here gathering dust, we'll get them out the door. They come with the original Numark flight cases as well, which is a rarity. Now, the Numark flight cases, if you remember the old Numark ones, they were black with silver edges with the Numark Pro logos on the corners. Obviously, when these were new, they would have come with dust covers. That's why there's obviously sockets at the back. So very similar style to the Ministry of Sound dust covers, funny enough. So you get the sockets of the hinges, the whole thing lifts up. These sadly don't obviously have the dust covers. I do have the 45 adapters and even the original head shells, which are going to be included with these too. So when he gets these, he's literally just going to be plugging them in and away he goes. I mean, I'll be changing the carts and stylus because they're old Stantons, but they will definitely do the job for the time being. But yeah, I thought I'd show you these before they go in their flight cases. So here we go, Numark Pro TT-2s. Don't believe what everyone tells you about these. These are cracking turntables. I was the envy of a lot of my friends back in the day when I had a pair of these, especially the ones that were on belt drive decks, and even some of the guys that were on Technics, just purely for the way that they look. Because let's face it, guys, they are a nice looking deck, aren't they? They are a nice looking deck. But there we go. Right, keep your eyes peeled for the next video, guys. But these are now going to be boxed back up in the flight cases, sent back to the customer, and years worth of spinning. So thanks for watching, everybody. Keep liking and subscribing. I'll speak to you all soon.